Today's topic is the what are the asymmetric key cryptography algorithms. Asymmetric key cryptography, also called as the public key cryptography. In the previous cases, we saw symmetric key cryptography. In the case of the symmetric key cryptography, we used a secret key for the encryption and for decryption. That means we have to share the secret key between the two persons, that is the sender and receiver. If we share the same secret key for encryption and decryption, that is called symmetric key cryptography. But today's topic is the asymmetric key cryptography. Generally, asymmetric key cryptography, it uses a pair of keys. Generally, these keys are called, one is public key that is used for encryption, and another one is the private key. So here we use a pair of, that means two keys for the encryption and decryption of the messages. So if you compare the symmetric key cryptography and asymmetric key cryptography, in symmetric key cryptography, a secret key must be shared between the two persons. But in the case of the asymmetric key cryptography, the secret is personal here. Each person who is involving in the communication for sending the message or receiving the message, each person creates and keeps his own secret key. He maintains, he only creates his own key and maintain that key with him only. So that's why it is this secret is personal. No need to share this one. So it is not the single secret key. Here in the asymmetric key, the secret is only personal. Personal means the secret key information which is using for encryption or decryption, that can be specified by a person. That means a person can create any key. He can say any key value for encryption or decryption. So symmetric key cryptography generally based on the symbols, permutations, substitutions. So at the time of encryption, we need to convert the plain text into some secret text, that is the ciphertext. For converting the plain text to the ciphertext, we'll perform different permutations on the characters and different substitutions. That means the characters will some of the characters will be changed with some other characters, and rotating the characters by performing different permutations, different substitutions. Just we are converting the actual plain text into some confused and a secret ciphertext, which is not feasible to understand by the attacker. So we can perform in the symmetric cryptography. We are using only symbol permutations and substitutions for the encryption. But in the case of the asymmetric key cryptography, it is purely based on the numeric manipulations. That means here, in the case of the asymmetric cryptography, whatever the plain text we want to send, first of all, that should be converted into some numeric value. The entire message, all the characters in the message will be converted into some numeric value. Then, by using some of the functionalities and by using some of the public key or private keys values, we can perform different operations on that numeric value that and converts it into some other numeric value. That is the ciphertext. That ciphertext, which is also a numeric value, that will be sent to the receiver other side. So here, in the case of the asymmetric key cryptography, the cryptography or encryption or decryption is purely based on the numeric manipulations. So here, which one is important? Is symmetric key cryptography or asymmetric key cryptography? Actually, both cryptographies are very, very important. In the case of the asymmetric key cryptography, generally we are using the asymmetric key cryptography whenever we need the authentication and the digital signatures. Whenever we need the authentication of the message and the digital signatures, then we are using the asymmetric key cryptography. But if you wanted to send the large messages, the asymmetric key cryptography is slow because it uses some of the mathematical functions to perform the different mathematical operations on the numeric values. Since it uses the mathematical functions and applies on the large amount of data, it will be slow. But in the case of the symmetric key, that is the old method, what I explained in the previous classes, the symmetric key cryptography it can be useful whenever we wanted to send the large amount of data, large amount of messages. So whenever you need the authentication digital signature, asymmetric key cryptography will be used. Whenever you need to send the large amount of data, symmetric key cryptographies will be useful. Now, asymmetric key cryptography also called as the public key cryptography. So asymmetric key, or it is also called as the public key cryptography. Both are same. So this public key cryptography invented by the Whitefield Diffie and Martin Hellman in 1976. That's why sometimes this public key cryptography also called as the Diffie and Hellman encryption. So because these two persons, Whitefield Diffie and Martin Hellman, were invented, that's why this public key cryptography also called as the Diffie-Hellman encryption. Actual public key algorithms are based on the mathematical problems which admit no efficient solutions that are inherent in certain integer factorization, discrete logarithm, and elliptic curve relationships. Public key crypto system main principle is the concept of public key cryptography is invented for two most difficult problems which are faced in the symmetric key encryption. In the case of symmetric key encryption, symmetric key cryptography, we face the two problems. First problem is the key exchange problem. The second one is the trust problem. So these problems were arised in the symmetric key cryptography. Those problems can be reduced or eliminated using the public key crypto system. So what is the key exchange problem? For example, in the case of symmetric key cryptography, you have to share a secret key between the two persons through a secure channel. But sometimes it may be possible, or sometimes it may not be possible to send it through the secure channel. So if both the sender and receivers are satisfying that the secret key is more secure, then only they can exchange. That is the problem. But in the case of the asymmetric key, that problem can be overcome. Then next one is the trust problem. Trust problem means ensuring the integrity of the received data. That means, suppose if a recipient receives some message So that message he received the correct message, or some data maybe there are some he received data with some loss of data. So he don't know. That is the integrity of the data. So ensuring the integrity of received data and also verifying the identity of the source. So who was sent this message? So suppose if a recipient receives some message, he should ensure that the message he must be ensured that he received the correct data, and also he should know the sender who was sent this message. So that is the trust problem. So here the receiver, sometimes the receiver does not know whether the message is coming for a particular sender. That means a sender, suppose if a recipient receives a message which is not from the authorized person, that is the problem, the trust problem. This problem can be overcome in the asymmetric key algorithm. So this public key crypto system, generally this public key crypto system or asymmetric key system uses the two keys, a pair of keys. Generally, one key can be used for the encryption and another key can be used for the decryption of the data. These two keys are generally named as the public key and private key. That means public key means it is distributed widely. That means the public key means anyone can know the public key. But private key means it is you should kept this key secret. So the private key means it is personal. You should kept that private key secret. But public key means you can disclose that public key to anyone. That's why it is called public key. Public key means you can tell the public key value to anyone. But private key means that is your personal. You should keep your personal key value with you only. That is you should kept it secret. That is the private key. So a message or text data which is encrypted with the public key can be, suppose a plain text which is encrypted with the public key, that should be decrypted by its corresponding private key only. Suppose if you, these are the pair. Suppose if you wanted to use a pair of keys, one is public key and a private key, assume it is a pair. Suppose if you use one key for encryption, you should use its corresponding another key for the decryption. Suppose if you use public key for encryption, you should use its corresponding private key for decryption. In the vice versa also, you can use a private key for the encryption, then you can use its corresponding public key for decryption also, both ways. So this two key system very useful in areas of the confidentiality and authentication. So whenever you use these two keys, then using these two keys ensures the confidentiality and authentication. Asymmetric key cryptography, generally it uses some 6 parts in the asymmetric key cryptography system. It uses 6 ingredients: plain text, that we know, ciphertext, then encryption algorithm and decryption algorithm. So encryption, here encryption and decryption algorithms are some mathematical functions, and public key and private key. These are the 6. These 6, we are using these 6 items in the cryptography, asymmetric cryptography. Now, how it ensures the security of the messages. So if you observe this diagram, assume here Bob is one person, here Alice is at the receiver side, here the sender is, assume the sender is at sender side is Bob is here, at receiver side we have Alice. Now, assume the bob at the sender side, the bob contains he contains different otherwise he contains the group of public keys of different persons. He contains, he knows, otherwise he maintains, Bob maintains a public key ring which contains Joy is one person, his public key, Mike is another person, his public key, Alice public key, Ted public key, these are different persons. Joy, Mike, like that. Bob is maintaining, here assuming Bob is sender, here Bob is maintaining the group of keys, is maintaining group of keys of different persons. Different persons. Assume he has different public keys of different persons. Okay, that means suppose Bob wanted to, now assume Bob wanted to send some message to Alice. So he wanted to send some message to Alice. Bob wanted to send message to Alice. In this case, now Bob is preparing his plain text which he wants to send. It is the plain text, X is the plain text. Now Bob encrypts this plain text. Bob encrypts this plain text X using only Alice public key. Why he uses the Alice public key here for the encryption? Because only he wants to send message to Alice. Bob wants to send message to Alice. That's why he should use the public key of Alice for encrypting the plain text X. Okay, now he encrypted this plain text X using the Alice public key. Okay, assume this Alice public key is PUA. PU means public key of Alice. PUA means, PU means public key of the Alice. Assume it is the PUA. So X is the plain text. It is the encryption algorithm. PU is the public key. So then after encrypting, a ciphertext will be created that is sending through this channel. Assume that ciphertext is called as Y. Assume the ciphertext X is the plain text and Y is assumed as the ciphertext. So how we are getting the ciphertext? Ciphertext Y is equal by using the PUA, that means Alice public key and the plain text X. So by using these parameters, he encrypted the plain text by using the public key of Alice, encrypt the X message and generates the ciphertext. So Y is equal E of PU comma X means Y is the ciphertext. Ciphertext is equal encryption of X using the public key of the Alice, PUA. Now Y is the ciphertext. Here ciphertext is sent to the Alice here. Here we have the Alice. Alice is at the recipient side. Now Alice received a ciphertext Y. A ciphertext Y. That is some encoded value. He must convert that ciphertext into plain text using the decryption algorithm. So here Alice performs decryption algorithm. Alice performs decryption algorithm on the ciphertext Y by using his private key, Alice's private key. Suppose if that ciphertext is opened using Alice's private key, then it will be converted into plain text. So here at the encryption side, Bob encrypts the message using Alice public key. Since that message is encrypted using the Alice public key, that message should be decrypted by the Alice by his private key only. Suppose this ciphertext, whatever this ciphertext Y is there, suppose this ciphertext received by some other person, John, he received it. Now John tries to open that ciphertext by using his private key. He don't know the private key of Alice. That's why he tried to open that ciphertext. He tried to decrypt that ciphertext using his private key. It cannot be decrypted. So the ciphertext which is encrypted using Alice public key can only decrypted by using Alice private key only. That's why the data is more secure. So the ciphertext which is encrypted by using Alice public key, that can be decrypted by using only Alice private key only. Alice private key only, this key only known by the Alice only. Alice, that's why it is called Alice private key. Alice private key means that the information of that key value known by the Alice only. That's why it is private to him. That's why the ciphertext which is encrypted by using Alice public key can only decrypted by using the Alice private key only. That's why it is more secure. So this is the information. So suppose A, the same thing, assume A is the sender, B is the receiver. Now A wanted to send the message X. So he performs the encryption algorithm on the X using B's public key. Then he creates ciphertext. The ciphertext is received by the B. B performs decryption algorithm using B's PR means private key of the B. PR means private key. So B uses private key of B for the decryption and generates the plain text. So this is the same thing. Now, how this public key cryptography providing the authentication? How it provides the authentication? Now, assuming one of the scenario, suppose here we have the Bob at the sender side, and here we have the Alice at the receiver side. Suppose Bob wanted to send a message. Otherwise, Alice want to receive a message from Bob. Alice requested a message from the Bob. Now, Bob and here Bob is encrypted that message. Bob is encrypted that message using private key of the Alice. Now, actually, this private key is very secret. Now, that private key information known by only Bob only. Now, so suppose if the Bob is the sender, he know the if he knows the private key of the Alice, and at the time of sending the text, plain text to Alice, suppose Bob encrypts his message using Alice private key. Alice private key. Okay. Now this plain text X is converted into ciphertext Y by using Alice private key. Alice PRB means Alice private key. Now here it is the Bob's, not the Alice. So this is the PRB means Bob's private key. So he encrypted the message using the Bob's private key. Okay. Then he sent it to the Alice. Assume Alice has different public keys with him. Those public keys belongs to different persons. So in the similarly, suppose Alice has Joy public key, Mike public key, Bob's public key, Ted public key, like this. Alice has a set of public keys. Now suppose Alice receives a ciphertext. Alice receives a ciphertext, and that ciphertext is decrypted using Bob's public key only. That means that data is sent by the Bob only. Alice knows that data is sent by Bob only, because that ciphertext is decrypted by using only Bob's public key. Suppose here assume Bob receives here the Alice receives a ciphertext. Alice receives a ciphertext that is only decrypted by using only Bob's public key. That means that Alice come to know that ciphertext only belongs to Bob only. That means suppose Alice, assume in the courier service or anything, before sending this one, Bob and different persons, they have given their public keys to the Alice. The group of persons, they have given, assume they have given their public keys to Alice. Now Alice has different persons, different public keys. Suppose now assume Bob sends his message in a box and closed that box by using his private key. He converted his plain text and sent that ciphertext to Bob. Now Bob receives a box of ciphertext. He tried to open that box using Joy's public key. It cannot be opened, or Mike public key, it cannot be opened. And now tried using the Bob's public key, it is opened. So that box is opened using Bob's public key. That means he come to know that box was sent by the Bob only. That box sent by the Bob only, because that box is opened using Bob's public key. That's why he come to know this box was sent by the Bob only. So like that, authentication will be happen. This is the similar case. So here, this authentication, whatever I explained in the previous case, that also served as the digital signature. That also served as the digital signature. That means, what is the meaning of the digital signature? So what is the use of the signature? Suppose if I have received a mail, or if I received a post with some cover, and I opened that cover, that has one document with with our principal's signature. I know how is our principal signature. I know. That means if I received a standard document, a paper with our principal's signature, then I come to know this is the authorized letter from our colleagues. Based on the signature, I come to know this is the authority of, this is the authorized letter which was sent by our principal only. That is the use of the signature. Similarly, digital signature also performs the same thing. Now here, what I explained in the previous, now Alice, suppose Alice received a box, Alice received a box, that box is opened by using the Bob's public key. That means that box was sent by the Bob only. So he come to know from where that ciphertext came. Based on that information, that is the digital signature. That serves as the digital signature. So it is impossible to alter the message without access to A's private key. So the message is authenticated both in terms of source and in terms of the digital data integrity. Sometimes, if you wanted to perform both authentication and confidentiality, confidentiality and authentication, for that purpose, you have to encrypt the data 2 times. Suppose I wanted to, A is one person, B is another person, A is the source, B is the destination. A wanted to send some message to B. Now, he encrypted the plain text X. X is the plain text. First he encrypted the plain text X using private key, using private key of A, private key of A, and it creates the ciphertext Y. So it creates ciphertext Y after encrypting the X using the private key of the A. Now again he encrypts the same message, same Y, this Y, second time encryption. So he performs the encryption again on the Y using B's public key. B's public key. So this X is 2 times encrypted. One is encrypted by using the sender A's private key, and again it was encrypted by using B's public key. Now B received the ciphertext Z. B received the ciphertext Z. Now that Z is opened by using private key of the B. The Z is opened by using private key of the B only. That means secret. That he now B received a box, that was some box that was opened by B's private key only. Nobody cannot open that box. So secret is there. And again, after that, again B again decrypted that box using A's public key. That means authentication is there. So whenever that box is opened again using A's public key, he knows, we know that the box was sent by the A. So here both secrets and authentications are there. So These are the different applications, digital signature and key exchanges. We have the different public key cryptography systems, algorithms. RSA is one of the algorithm, elliptic curve algorithm, Diffie-Hellman algorithm, DSS algorithm. So encryption, decryption, these are the different applications. So RSA algorithm, it has the 3 applications. Elliptic curve also 3 applications. Some of these are different applications supported by different algorithms. So public key cryptanalysis. What is the meaning of the cryptanalysis? Cryptanalysis means it is the study how to break the ciphertext without knowing the secret key. So that the attacker try to break the ciphertext, try to decrypt the ciphertext without knowing the key value. That is the cryptanalysis. Now public key cryptanalysis. Suppose in the case of public key cryptanalysis, generally in the case of symmetric key cryptography, they uses only the key size is very less. But here in the case of this asymmetric key cryptography, they are using large size of keys. That's why cryptanalysis is very cryptanalysis is very difficult here. Very difficult in the public key cryptography. Now come to the one of the example algorithm of asymmetric key cryptography or public key cryptography is RSA algorithm. RSA algorithm. Generally, it is the most common public key algorithm. RSA means actually this RSA algorithm was invented by three engineers, software engineers. One person is Revest, Shamir, and Edelman. So the first letters of these persons are is the RSA in 1977. That's why since this algorithm invented by the 3 persons, the first letter of this, the name of the first letter of their names is the RSA. That's why this is called RSA algorithm. Generally, RSA scheme is the block cipher in which the plain text and ciphertext are. So here it is very important in the RSA algorithm. The plain text or ciphertext, whatever it may be, actually the plain text is converted into some integer value. Even though plain text contains alphabets, numerics, or special characters, whatever it may be, everything is converted into finally some integer value. That is the plain text. After encryption, we will get the some ciphertext. The ciphertext also contains integer values. That's why plain text and ciphertext all are in the form of the integers only, 0 to n minus 1 for some n. The typical size of n is 1024. The block size of n is 1024 bits or 309 decimal digits. That is, it is the n is less than 2 power 1024. The block size is 2 power 1024. So this is the RSA algorithm. RSA algorithm uses the expression with the exponentials. It uses the expressions with expression with exponentials. So in RSA, plain text is encrypted in blocks with each blocks having binary value less than some number n, some value n, that is the integer value. The block size must be less than or equal to log 2 of n. Block size. Suppose the text size is n, the block size should be less than log 2 n. Okay. RSA uses the 2 exponents. The exponent values are assume these exponents are the E is one exponent and D is another exponent. E is the encryption key for the encryption. D is for the decryption. So we are using 2 exponent values at the time of encryption decryptions. One is the E and another value is the D. E means that value is the exponent which is using for the encryption. D is another the value, that is the exponent which is used at decryption. That's why we are using E and D values, where E is the public and D is the private. E and D are nothing but they are some 2 numbers. Now encryption, decryption are of the form for some plain text and cipher text blocks. So generally, this assume M is the plain text, C is the ciphertext, M is the plain text. For example, assume M is the plain text, capital M, C is the ciphertext. So ciphertext is equal, C is equal. So perform the plain text power. Plain text is nothing but the entire plain text is converted into some numeric value. So M is the numeric value. Assumed it is the plain text. So the M power some E mod N. M power E mod N. After performing this operation, you will get the, from this plain text, you will get some ciphertext. So from this ciphertext to plain text M, how to get the plain text from this ciphertext? So plain text M is equal C power D. D is the decrypt value mod N. So by using these formulas, we can perform encryption decryption algorithms. Assume here M is equal to plain text is equal cipher to decryption of the ciphertext, which is equal to ME. Ciphertext is nothing but ME M power E mod N power D mod N. So this is the formula for getting the plain text at the recipient side. Now, both sender and receiver must know the value of the N. They should know the value of the N. The sender knows the value of E and only the receiver knows the value of, and only the receiver knows the value of the D. Thus, this is public key encryption algorithm with PU. Public key is E comma N. E means the value of the encryption key and N is the size of the text. Private key is the pair, D is the decrypt value, key value, and N is the size of the block. So public key pair is E comma N, private key pair is D comma N. So by using this D comma N and E comma N, you will perform encryption and decryption algorithms. So how to get the, what is the ciphertext? This is the ciphertext M power E mod N. So to get the plain text from the ciphertext, so M is the plain text. So you have to decrypt the ciphertext. Here it is the M. You have to decrypt the ciphertext. So ciphertext C power D, it is exponent C power D mod N. It gives the plain text M. So what is the ciphertext? The ciphertext equation is this one. This is the C value. You substitute the C value mod N. So M power ED mod N. So M power ED mod N for getting the plain text. Now, what are the steps for RSA algorithm? First step is you have to assume two prime numbers, large prime numbers in the RSA algorithm. For here, for encryption or decryption, here for the encryption, you have to assume two large size prime numbers. Assumed they are the P and Q. P is one largest prime number, Q is another largest prime number. Then calculate some N value is equal. This is the N value by multiplying P and Q. So actually P is one large number, N is also another large number. If you multiply both numbers, you will get very, very large number. Assumed that is the N. So calculate the N value in the next. Assume two P and Q primes values, then multiply those two numbers and that is N. Then calculate pi of N. So Euler's totient function, pi of N is Euler's totient function is equal. Since both are the prime values, so primes values, prime numbers, so pi of N is equal P minus 1 into Q minus 1. So because, for example, pi of any prime number is equal P minus 1. So pi of P into Q means pi of P minus 1 into Q minus 1. That's why. So calculate the Euler's totient value, that is the pi n, using this one. Now select or find any integer. You can select any integer assumed, that is the E, that is assumed as the E. Select any integer, that is E, also called as the public key, which is relatively prime to pi n. So relatively prime to pi n. So relatively prime to pi n means you can assume any E value that should be co-prime to pi n value. Pi n value. For example, if the pi n value is, if the pi n value is 5, so the E value should be co-prime to the 5 or relatively prime to the 5. That means, and that E value should be less than the 5 also, pi n also. That E value less than the pi n also. That means, what are the co-primes to the 5? It is 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. So you can take any value between 1 to 4 for E. For E. Like that, E is any one of the co-prime or relatively prime value to the pi n. It is the E, you can assume any E value which is the co-prime to the pi n, and it should be less than pi n. That is the, you can assume any E value. Now calculate the D value, that the decryption value, using this formula. Using this formula, you can calculate D value. So D is, so E into D. What is formula? E, already we know the E value. D value you don't know. E into D should be congruent to 1 mod pi n. That is that formula should satisfy like that. So some E times of D must be congruent to 1 modulo division pi n. By using this formula, you can calculate the D value. So we have the P value, Q value, N value, pi n value, and E value and D value. Then perform encryption using this formula. This is the encryption. This is the encryption. Actually, this is the encryption, and this is using this formula. This is the decryption formula. So perform the encryption decryptions and send the data. Example. So for our convenience here, I have taken two small prime numbers for the example purpose only. Actually, we should take the very large prime numbers, but here I have taken two small prime numbers for the convenience of explanation. So assume the one of the prime number is P is 17 and Q is 11. 17 is one prime number, 11 is also another prime number, and P into Q, 17 into 11 is N. Its value is 187. N is the 187, multiplication of 17 and 11. Then pi of 187 is, pi n is equal this 17 minus 1 into 10 minus 1. That means it is 16, it is 10. It is equal 160. So pi of 187 is 160. Now we have the pi n value. You have to assume one encryption E value. That E value should be the co-prime to the 160 and less than the 160. So you assume, for example, I assumed E is equal to 7. Encryption value is E is the co-prime to the 160. Okay, if you want to check, is it co-prime? 7 is co-prime to 160 or not, by using GCD formula. So GCD of, you should get 1. GCD of 160 comma 7 is equal GCD of, this is 7. How many times this is 7 divides? 7 2s 14. 20 will be there. 7 2s again 14. So 6 is there. So remainder is 6. Again, this is equal to GCD of 6 comma 6 divides how many times? 1 time. So what is the remainder? 1. Now GCD of 6 comma 1 is equal to 6 1. That's why 7 is the co-prime to the 160 and it is less than the 160. That's why here E is assumed as 7. Now calculate the D value using this formula. So some D times of E must be congruent to 1 modulo divisor 160. So if you assume D value is 23, then 23 into 7 is equal to 161. 161 modulo division with 160 is equal to 1. Remainder is 1. So 161 D into, if you assume D is 23, D value is 23 and E is already 7. 23 into 7 is 161 and 161 modulo divide with 160. So you will get remainder 1. So the D value is 23 here. Now, so what is the public key here? 7 E comma N. What is the E here? 7. What is N? 187. Private key is D comma N. Now assume the plain text. Plain text is whatever it may be. The entire plain text is converted into some numeric value, integer value. Assume, for example, assume the plain text integer value is 88. M equal to 88. Now we need to calculate the ciphertext. We need to calculate the ciphertext. So ciphertext calculation is for at the encryption side. So ciphertext C is equal to plain text is 88, power E is 7, mod N 187. So 7 is the E, 88 is the plain text, 187 is the, what is 187? 187 is the N value. So because C is equal to M power E mod N, that's why it is the C value. So how to get it? So 88 power 7 mod 187 can be calculated like this. You can divide this one. 884 mod 187, 88 square mod 187, 81 power 1 mod 187. That means 88 to the power of 4 square and 1. Total is 7. So 884. Now 88 power mod 187 is 188 mod 187 is 88. 88 square mod 187 is 77. You can calculate this one. 884 is 137. After multiplying this one, the value is 11. So what is the 11 here? Here, if you assume 88 is the plain text value, the value of the plain text is 88. After converting that 88, after encrypting that 88, you will get the ciphertext C using this formula. That ciphertext value is 11. So for plain text 88, after conversion, its value is changed to the 11. Now this 11 is the ciphertext that data is sent to the recipient. Now how that 11 is converted into plain text 88 at recipient side, that is the decryption. For decryption, we calculate using this formula. M is the plain text is equal to decrypt data power decrypt key. What is the decrypt key? In the previous case, D value is 23. So plain text equal to 11 power 23 mod 187. So if you perform this value step by step using this, first to calculate 11 power 1, 11 square mod 187, 11 to the power. After multiplying all these, so finally you are getting 188 here. So why you are getting 88 here? Because after decrypting, so you will be getting the plain text value. What is the plain text? Plain text is the 88. So plain text 88 is converted into 11, that is the ciphertext. This ciphertext at the recipient side is decrypted into 88, that is the plain text. So it is the encryption, this is the decryption. At the encryption side, plain text is 88 is converted into ciphertext 11. At the decryption, the ciphertext 11 is converted into plain text 88. So this is the use of the RSA algorithm. So this RSA, by using brute force algorithms or any attacks, these are impossible in the RSA algorithm.